Championship week.
From the Baja men to the men of the Mid-American Conference, Detroit is the destination. Ford Field is Shangri-La. And for these two teams, this is their Super Bowl. Miami tries to repeat as MAC champion. Ohio seeks its first league title since 1968. It's the Battle of the Bricks here in Motown. Good afternoon from Detroit. Anish Shroff, former Heisman Trophy winner Andre Ware. We'll hear from Paul Carcaterra in just a moment. You have a rivalry game with more than a century of history. It's the second oldest rivalry in the MAC, and the stakes have never been higher.
Yeah, they're high, and we got strength versus strength. Ohio, they want to run the football, and they've got the best rushing attack in the MAC, and led by Trey Tyus, their running back, who averaged just under 1,000 yards this season. He's dynamic. He's their do-it-all back that they'll go to. They push it down the field with Parker Navarro, their quarterback, but it's the running game where they hang their hat. That's the bread and butter of this Ohio team.
Bobcats have won 5 in a row. Tyus and Navarro, both in the top 5 in the conference in rushing. They meet a stern test in this Miami defense, led by the soulstone of that D, Matt Salopek.
Yeah, this is the other side of that strength that we talk about. Matt Salopek is a sideline-to-sideline player. They love to blitz him. He makes plays all over the field. He had 4 consecutive years of 100-plus tackles. The guy's just a player on the defensive side of the ball.
He was the defensive MVP of the MAC championship game last year. His head coach calls him our Luke Kuechly. And Paul, while Salopek is the heartbeat of the defense, Brett Gabbert is the heartbeat of the Miami offense.
Indeed, Anish. A year ago, Miami hoisted a trophy on this very field without its leader, quarterback Brett Gabbert, who watched from the sidelines, wondering if he would ever play the sport of football again. Last October against Toledo, Brett suffered a gruesome injury, a compound tibula and fibula fracture. After surgery, and when the dust settled, Brett's main concern was being able to walk normal again, not throwing a football. He told me he wasn't sure he even wanted to play the sport again. He knew the road to recovery would be brutal. Once he decided he was going to make a comeback, he was all in, and he drew inspiration from players like quarterback Alex Smith, who had a similar injury while playing for the Washington Commanders. The timetable for return was 12 to 16 months. He was back in 10 and a half months and didn't miss a start this season. It's been a crazy 14 months for Brett, gentlemen, and this time around he can win a MAC championship where he belongs, on the field.
He won one as a true freshman in 2019. Can bookend his career with a league title. Ohio won the toss, elected to defer, so Miami will have the ball first from their own 25-yard line. And when you look at what Gabbert has done in his Miami career, Andre, his numbers right up there with the likes of Ben Roethlisberger.
And what he's done against Ohio in his career, 12 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. That's for his career. So he has basically been flawless when he's on the field against Ohio.
First team all-conference, Miami, winners of 7 straight. These are the 2 hottest teams in the Mid-American Conference, the 2 best teams in the conference, and playing for a league championship. Gabbert to the air, takes a shot on first down. The overshot his intended target, the first team all-conference wideout, Javon Tracy, as we look at today's impact players, brought to you by Voya.
Yeah, for Miami, it's Keon Mosey. He is the guy that went over 1,000 yards, the only player in the MAC to go over 1,000 yards this season. And then on the other side, Blake Leak. He's a player that makes a lot of tackles, leads this team in tackles with 73 coming into this ball game.
Ohio's defense the last 4 weeks has been living in the backfield. First carry for Mosey, the MAC's leading rusher, north of 1,000 yards on the season, and brought down by Ohio's top tackler, Blake Leak.
What's amazing about Mosey, he just kind of kept climbing the depth chart. was at this point last year was a third-teamer. Just kind of worked his way up the depth chart and became a 1,000-yard rusher. They feel secure putting the game in his hands if need be.
Miami lost some significant pieces in the transfer portal, including Rashad Amos, their top running back from last year. Out of an empty set on 3rd and 3. Gabbert finds Tracy, and a first down, his 51st catch of the season.
Boy, you're gonna hear a lot about this young man, Javon Tracy. Excellent hands, great route runner, and when you need it the most on 3rd down, that's where Gabbert will be going. Leads this team with 50 catches coming into the game.
That 3rd down conversion significant. Miami came into the game 33% on 3rd down, next to last in the MAC. Only Kent State, which was the only team in the country below 20%, was worst on 3rd down.
Yeah.
Miami will take its time. They'll milk the clock. Ball control. They want to possess the ball. Mosey looking for room and swarmed in a sea of white and green. And that's this Ohio defense that had 31 TFLs in the last 4 games.
You have to mix it up a little bit on the early downs, and these Ohio's good against the run. 97 yards is all they allow against the run. The best in the MAC and 7th in the entire country.
Here comes the blitz. It's Mosey straight up the gut. And now 3rd down, and Andre part of the chess match here. Ohio's defensive coordinator, John Hauser, spent 8 years on the Miami staff with Chuck Martin. And Chuck Martin told us, Hauser knows who we are. He knows what we like to do.
Yeah.
There are no secrets here.
Well, now you just got to outplay him. It's got to be, mano a mano in terms of winning one-on-one matchups. That's one of the things that Hauser actually talked about, competing for 50-50 balls and winning when they're there.
The tight end, Cold Iron, is in the backfield to block. Gabbert's throw complete to Tracy, slippery and elusive, and he picks up another Miami first down.
Just talked about him on 3rd downs. Just excellent route runner. He really understands coverages. As a quarterback, I appreciate that. When you have a guy that understands zone coverages, sits down, shows you the numbers, where to slide to find a window for the quarterback, and then big on 3rd downs, he's going to work to get himself open.
I really love his catch radius and his ability to make guys miss. You've seen that already.
Yeah, he plays a lot bigger than that 6-foot frame.
Off play action, this ball tipped, and it finds Reggie Virgil. A fortuitous bounce early for Miami, and another first down, a gain of 18 for the 6'4" Virgil.
Yeah, he's their big play wide receiver, a guy that can really stretch the field. But usually you see this with DBs, the tip drill. Well, guess what? I guess receivers can do it also. He's the second in 3 receivers that we're going to talk about a lot. Cade McDonald would be the 3rd.
Shea Taylor, 3rd team all-conference linebacker, tipped it for Ohio. Look at the numbers for Virgil, who leads the team in receiving yards.
This is a great opening drive for Miami.
Gabbert is 3 for 4. Play clock down to 1. And they get the call off. They got a timeout before the play clock.
Prior to the snap.
I think Coach Martin
Timeout, Miami.
got to an official and got the timeout call.
Timeout.
Miami in the red zone on its opening drive.
And Doug.
Whoa, we moved. And then I went. Only.
It's a new era.
Puts up a 3-pointer.
We take a look at today's road test presented by Goodyear. And Miami's road to the title game got off to a bumpy start. They were 1-4, started 0-3. Last 7 games, they turned it around And Chuck Martin credited this offensive line. He said at 1-4, this team was on the fast track to 1-11.
Jack Pardee used to tell us that successful seasons are made by winning streaks. That is certainly the case for Miami, winning their last 7 in a row.
Tracy is the motion man. 2 big catches on 3rd down already. Opening drive for Miami, the defending MAC champions. Gabbert 3 for 4 against the blitz. Has to throw that away. 2nd and 10. Paul?
161 total starts combined with this unit. They're all redshirt juniors and seniors. They got the only 1,000-yard rusher in the MAC and Mosey, a 6th-year quarterback in Brett Gabbert. It was only a matter of time they got into a groove when they started 1-4. And watching this unit, the offensive line, the big boys up front in pregame, they are dialed in and they are cohesive. One unit.
Only Charlie Nank, the center, number 77, right in the middle of it all. He's the new guy.
4 starters back. Both these teams were hit hard by transfers in the offseason, but continuity on the O-line's been big. Mosey gets the call. It sets up a 3rd down. Andre, we do these games through the course of a season.
Right.
And a lot of teams nowadays, aggressive 3rd down, 4th down, they think of it as a 4-down philosophy. Not Miami. They will kick, they'll take the points,
yes,
they'll punt, they'll play field position, and that's part of their DNA.
It is, and in the red zone, they've struggled a little bit. Only 2 touchdowns in their last 6 red zone trips. So you want to take points when you can get them. Got to come up big here on 3rd and 7.
Cold Iron, the tight end, in the backfield.
And where's Tracy, Anish? Down at the bottom right here.
Gabbert looks Tracy's way, makes the catch, makes the first man miss. Can he get to the sticks? Looks to be a hair shy. It'll depend on the spot.
Got to know where you are on the field. He makes the first guy miss, and if he just hits the gas and just goes vertical, get up the field once you make the first guy miss, I think he's going to pick up the first down. He tries to make Roman Parodi miss as well, and that's where he came up short. To your point, Miami going to try to take points here.
Most teams, 4th and less than a yard, they'd go for it here. Not Miami.
Chuck doesn't believe in that book. Wherever this book lies, he believes that he's kind of old school. Take the points.
Dom Jobin puts the kick through. And if you look at Miami's MAC championship teams under Martin last year, 2019, special teams had a lot to do with it, especially the place kicker, Graham Nicholson, Groza Award winner last year. 2019, Sam Sloman, 4 field goals, 3 of 40 plus in a win against Central Michigan.
His thought process obviously was working out for him because they won a lot of games at Miami under the leadership of Chuck Martin.
Number 22 for Ohio is playing as number 31. 22, Ohio is playing as 31.
And you know, the one thing about him is that he knows his teams. Whatever works in the book that may work for other programs, you know, it may not work for his. And he knows, a head coach knows his program better than anyone else, which is why he takes the points in situations like that.
Yeah, they recruit to special teams. A lot of their defensive players play on special teams. He told us it's ingrained in who they are. Ohio, all season long, has now only allowed 15 first quarter points. But they hold Miami to 3. And this one skips out of the end zone. The Bobcats will have it at the 25. Their quarterback is Parker Navarro. In his career, he has backed up both Dylan Gabriel and Curtis Rourke. Those 2 are now starting quarterbacks on soon-to-be playoff teams. He's fought through a broken collarbone.
Ohio is now playing as number 22.
He's fought through Tommy John surgery. And Andre, he waited his turn for this season.
Yeah, he really has. He's been in this program for 3 years. And just kind of, as you mentioned, waited his turn. As he's experienced, they believe in him and believe they can win with him.
throw on first down. It's a wobbler brought in by Chase Hendricks for a first down. Sophomore from St. Louis, as we look at impact players when Ohio has it.
Yeah, that time it was Chase Hendricks, but you're going to see a lot of Coleman Owen, the other wide receiver. He's their do-it-all receiver. 5 catches, 142 yards in their last game. And then Brian Igwu on the other side for Miami.
Ugu in pursuit of Navarro, who gets to the outside for a gain of 5. Both Navarro and Tyus, the two-headed monster, in his top-ranked rushing attack for Ohio. Navarro leading the conference with 13 touchdowns.
Ugu is a dynamic pass rusher with 7.5 sacks coming into the ball game.
First team all-conference. Quick throw on the slant. Hendricks again. Enough to move the chains.
He played as a true freshman. Little slant route right there, and can really stretch the field. He's, arguably their number 2 receiver, but he can step up and have a big night or a big day, big game here for Ohio, as all the attention right now is on number 6, Coleman Owen.
Ohio, the number 1 offense in the MAC, the number 1 rushing offense in the MAC. And they've done it despite losing a former conference offensive player of the year in Curtis Rourke, who's now the QB at Indiana. Tyus tackled by who else? Matt Salopek. First time we've called his name today. He was the defensive player of the year in the MAC a season ago. Andre, you said it.
Best on best, strength on strength. Strength against strength. Tyus and Salopek is waiting to see this guy. We got a chance to see him last year in this very game. Over 100 tackles again this year.
Speed option. Navarro, delayed pitch. Tyus with a first down. Andre, when these two met in the regular season, Miami won handily. The final score wasn't indicative of how close the game was. Ohio didn't have its 2 tackles. They're back today.
Yeah, they're back today, and they get Ugu kind of pinching inside, so it made it easy for Parker Navarro to read that. Got all the way to the edge and out to a secondary player, a second-level player, before he even had to pitch the ball to Tyus.
Ohio answering Miami with a good-looking opening drive of its own. Navarro in traffic, incomplete for Hendricks. In that regular season loss to Miami, Navarro threw a couple of picks and could have thrown a couple of more.
Eli Blakely could have come up with that one, just throwing into a crowded area. Got to take what's there. You got your big tight end Mason Williams sitting down underneath, wide open. You decide to force one into Hendricks because he's been the hot player for you.
Starting safety Eli Blakey, 3rd team all-conference DB. Slow to get up for Miami.
All right, we got your home and auto bundled, and you saved hundreds.
Oh, that's nice with the economy and all.
So many things.
Solich retired. Albin was on Solich's staff for a decade and a half, and Albin named MAC Coach of the Year earlier this week for the 2nd time in 3 years.
Can coach some football. It's on Frank Solich's staff, elevated to head coach, and they've had a heck of a run, Coach Albin.
On 2nd and 10, just outside the 25-yard line of Miami. Tyus looking for running room. Patient run for the Northwestern transfer, who finished the regular season with back-to-back 100-yard games.
And Ugu playing the run well, gets himself back involved in that stop on Tyus. We've got a couple of really good players. Hope Eli Blakey comes back in. He's a smooth player on the back end. You've got Salopek and then Ugu on the defensive line for Miami.
Yeah, they've got a guy at every level on defense. Ohio's been outstanding on 3rd down. Coleman Owen in motion. Navarro dropped the ball, improvises, and picks up the first down.
Heads-up play by Navarro. There's no hesitation once he knew the ball was on the turf. He just goes straight ahead, get vertical. I'm going to get as much as I possibly can. We had guys watching receivers with their eyes off the quarterback, and that allowed Navarro to get just enough to pick up the first down and keep this drive going. It's a good start to the game and a good answer for Ohio after Miami opened their opening drive with a field goal.
Two tight ends in the game. 1st and 10. Red zone chance for Ohio. Tyus sledgehammers
Nice.
inside the 10.
Nice job of showing some patience there for Trey Tyus.
Michigan
blocks, yeah, following blocks, setting them up just perfectly, and then explodes through the hole. They could live with 2nd and medium all game long and make it tough on Miami.
Now, they were worried about the 2nd and long and the 3rd and long when Miami can get exotic on defense. Back to the ground and back to Tyus. Bully ball from Ohio, and it's 1st and goal inside the 5.
We talked a lot about Miami's offensive line and Carter's report, 161 starts up front for Miami, but you got to be impressed with this Ohio offensive line as well, moving and reestablishing the line of scrimmage for Trey Tyus.
And Andre, they get 57. Carson Heidecker back in the lineup. He didn't play in the first meeting against Miami. Right tackle Jacob Dennison also didn't play. He's been back. Navarro keeps it. Touchdown, Ohio. They answer the Miami field goal with 6.
Navarro is very much the dual threat quarterback and a weapon for Ohio. Went for 868 yards on the ground this year, and all eyes were on Tyus. It left Navarro untouched into the end zone, and what a heck of a drive, an opening drive for Ohio to answer points from Miami.
Gianni Spedic for the PAT. 7-3 Bobcats. If Miami wins, they'd be the first repeat champion in the MAC since NIU more than a decade ago. If Ohio wins, it would be the 5th different MAC champion in 5 seasons. Miami and Ohio met back on October 19th. The Redhawks offense rolling. Brett Gabbert, 3 touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. Miami led 30-6 before Ohio scored a couple of touchdowns in the final minutes to make it a 30-20 game. That was the final. Again, from the Ohio side, they felt they didn't have 2 of their offensive tackles. Those 2 are back, but both of these teams, Andre, feel that they're playing their best football over the last 5-6 weeks of the season, and these are the best teams in the conference.
Get your snacks, get your beverages, because this is going to be a good one the remainder of the way.
Kevin Davis, a dangerous return man, is dragged down shy of the 20. That's where Miami will go to work.
I hear that name, I have flashbacks. Kevin Davis. This is a guy that faked being sick when I was a senior in high school on the 400-meter relay. I'd just run the open quarter, and my football coach was like, forget about him. Andre will run it, won't you? And I would run through a wall for Coach Doug Ferris.
And he faked it?
Yes, he faked being sick because he didn't want to run the mile relay. Guess who ran the second leg?
You clearly
cramped up from the neck down.
I can see you've let it go.
That name brings back some scary memories.
Davis in the backfield on first down. Gabbert will run. Slides across the 25.
No flag. No flag.
A quarterback who
sliding
is a defenseless player the moment he begins the slide.
And all you really got to do is touch him down or go over the top, because in college, obviously, he's down. And when you see him slide, I'm
surprised.
Totally blown away that Adonis Williams Jr. does not get a flag thrown here for that.
It's not targeting because he leads with the shoulder, but I'm shocked there's no flag.
In agreement with you.
Second down, 3 to go. Gabbert was stunned as well. Mosey with a seam. Knocked down, but not before a first down. You think of the running back room for Miami. They had a real good one last year in Rashad Amos. He transfers to Ole Miss, not really playing much there. They had Kenny Tracy, who was going to be their starter, torn ACL. He's out for the year, and Mosey works himself to the top of the depth chart.
And I tell you what, they just washed the entire right side of Ohio's defense down inside. That gave Mosey a big hole to run through. A lot of green turf.
Miami's been snapping the ball with less than 5 on the play clock on every single one of its snaps. Gabbert under pressure flushes this out of bounds in the direction of Andre Johnson.
That's the experience of Brett Gabbert. Because a lot of quarterbacks just hang in there or take a sack. He feels the pressure and a guy coming free on him, and it was Braylon Henderson there. He just throws it away. Let's come back on second down, as opposed to taking the sack and losing yardage by doing so.
Sixth-year senior. He's played a little bit of football.
Yes, he has.
Older brother Blaine Gabbert, standout at Miami, first-round pick, a dozen years in the NFL. Quick out, offline, incomplete, third down.
He's on that back foot just a little bit. Andre Johnson. Man, there's some names in this game. Andre Johnson, and he's playing receiver, 6'4", 220-pound receiver, transfer from Arizona State, who I think is up in their game against Iowa State early.
Big 12 championship game. Championship weekend in college football. Ohio showing blitz. Taylor almost jumped. Play clock down to 2. Down to 1. Screen pass. First catch for Cade McDonald. And an outstanding tackle in space by Tank Pearson, their top corner. And Miami will have to punt.
Yeah, John Hauser told us one of their keys to the game defensively would be tackling in space, out in the open field. Well, there's the definition of it right there by Tank Pearson. It's a heck of a job against a receiver, bigger receiver in Cade McDonald, but he was able to get him on the turf and force a punt here by Miami.
Alec Bevelheimer to kick it away with Coleman Owen back deep. Owen's got 2 punt return touchdowns in his career, one this season, and met by a sea of red as soon as he makes the catch. Time for a studio update. What do you got, Matt Barry?
John.
That was a very neutral update, giving Matt's ties to Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah, it is. But he's
a professional.
He's got one eye here, but the majority of it is the other is on that game, no doubt.
Tell you what, if Arizona State wins, Kenny Dillingham may go viral yet again.
Oh my
their
goodness!
head coach.
I love the excitement, the passion in which he coaches with.
Tyus gets the call on first down, picks up about 4. Andre, this game already. This is the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Second possession for Ohio. Miami's had it twice. If a team goes up 2 scores in a low possession game like this one looks to be,
with the clock running fast, you got to get out of your game plan a little bit faster. A little bit faster if this happens with against Miami. You'll see them start throwing it around a lot more than they have already.
Ohio does not have to call a play, but they do. And a quick hitter to Hendricks with yet another catch. He has all 3 Ohio receptions, and we have played 1 quarter in this 2024 MAC championship. Ohio leading the defending champion Miami 7-3.
Dad, what playoff you wearing?
It's a college football.
Insurance.
Coach, you're playing an experienced Miami defense. What's the best way to attack this unit?
We got to stay on schedules and offense. Something we didn't do in the first meeting. So far, so good. I think you got a great chess match with both quarterbacks at the line of scrimmage. A lot of checking. They know a lot about us. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about what we know. And right now, we've been on schedule. We'll see if we can finish and get some points out of this drive.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
On schedule is right. Ohio only had 1 third-down attempt in that opening quarter. Little screen pass. Tyus finds a tunnel. And this is what the Bobcats want to do, Andre. They want to pick up enough on first down so Miami cannot dial up their pressure and get exotic with those rabbit packages on second and third.
I have no idea what went on at Northwestern with Tyus, but to force a transfer to Miami. I mean, excuse me, Ohio. But he is a good-looking player.
Yeah.
I mean, a good-looking player.
And Ohio got a glimpse of that right away. His season debut at Syracuse, which turned out to be a 9-win team. He ran for 200 plus, and he picks up the first down there.
Good news for Miami. Safety Eli Blakey is back on the field. You saw him leave in the first quarter due to an injury. It was the upper right shoulder area on his right arm. You see that he has the left arm brace on as well, but this is good news. Second in the team in tackles behind, you know who, Matt Salopek.
It will do a lot of things with Blakey on the back end.
RPO, Navarro to the far side. 4th catch for Hendricks. He has 4 of the team's 5 receptions so far, and Navarro 5 out of 6 passing.
Sometimes these games make stars. And I tell you what, if it continues the way it's going, Hendricks may become a star in this one. Just a sophomore. He's a young player, but a big upside, and the coaches feel like he has a very bright future in this program.
Ohio into Miami territory for the 2nd consecutive drive. Both teams have had the ball twice, and we're early here in the 2nd quarter. Navarro keeps it. Nice move. Cyclones for another first down. They're picking up the yards on first down, which puts this defense on its heels on 2nd and 3rd.
It wasn't an easy path for Parker Navarro, but when he got his shot, he made the most of it. And this team, along with the coaches, they feel like they trust him. They feel like they can win with him, and he has produced in a major way this season for them.
Started at UCF, where he backed up Dylan Gabriel, who's now the quarterback for #1 Oregon.
We list him at 6 foot, but man, he looks taller than that.
Young man from Arizona. Navarro lets it fly, almost intercepted. He wanted Coleman Owen, and Rayon Strader, Miami's first-team all-conference corner, nearly had his 3rd pick.
Yeah, he's the best cover man on the back end for Miami, and you gotta see why. Excellent break on the football. He's got to hold on to it, big fella. He almost beat the receiver out of his break. Knew exactly where he was going.
2 tight ends into the game here on 2nd and 10. Here comes Tyus. Now Ohio's got to be careful. It's 3rd and long. Miami bringing in its 3rd and long personnel, and these were the situations that kept Tim Albin up all week.
Yeah, heck of a tackle by Oscar McWood out of right here in Detroit, Brother Rice High School. One of my best friends, Mike Farr, and a teammate here in Detroit with the Lions, attended that same high school. Brother Rice.
Ty Wise, the middle linebacker, lined up off the edge. How about the call? The draw play on 3rd down and 9. It works to perfection.
Got everybody thinking they had to throw the football in this situation, and they unleashed their top weapon on a draw play. Everyone's spread out. It's the perfect formation defensively to run this. They get pass rushers coming up the field, and all of a sudden, here comes Mr. Tyus.
Anthony Tyus grew up 2 hours from Detroit, Portage, Michigan.
Now they're going to split him out wide.
He's got about 20 friends and family in attendance today.
Maybe a screen to him, tunnel screen.
They like running quarterback draw 2 out of that empty set. Instead, they go to Hendricks, who has matched a career high with 5 receptions, and we're still early in the second quarter.
And Coach Alvin told Paul during our break that they needed to stay on schedule. Got a little bit behind schedule when they had to run the draw play, but for the most part, here in the first half, they've stayed on schedule, and that's allowed them to really do what they want offensively, and it's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Miami's defense.
11th play of the drive as Mason Williams, the tight end, motions to the slot. Right back to Tyus. Got a couple of nice blocks on the perimeter.
Come on, Parker, you gotta pick up a block for your running back. As a quarterback, he's out there in space, at least a shield block. He kind of throws and misses everybody. As Tyus breaks it back, you're going to see Parker Navarro come into your screen. Go ahead and get you a block there, big fella.
He wanted to, and then at the last moment.
Business decision.
Business decision. Discretion over valor. Ricky Hunt gives Anthony Tyus a well-deserved breather. 65 yards on 10 carries for Tyus. Navarro, screen pass, backwards pass to Hunt. And it is incomplete. They ruled it incomplete. The white hat, Andrew Special, the referee, says incomplete, but looked to be a backwards pass.
And it was very, very close. Hunt is the primary backup.
I will say it was a backwards pass, so that is not an incomplete pass. Instead, a loss of 3 instead of 2nd and 10, 2nd and 13.
Certainly looked that way in real time. Now you're off schedule. See if they can get a big chunk of this back here on 2nd down.
Owen motions. Quick hitter. Rodney Harris, who had the best game of his career against Miami in October. 7 catches for 72 yards.
He makes all the contested catches. He's not afraid to go over the middle. Will climb the ladder to make plays for this offense. And man, they've got a couple of weapons. Hendricks has stepped up, waiting on the first catch from Coleman Owen, their #1 receiver, but the other guys are getting themselves involved.
This is the 14th play of this Ohio drive. Navarro keeps it. And another first down. Ohio now 3 for 3 on 3rd downs today. It sets up a goal to go as this drive is close to 7.5 minutes long.
Got to be impressed with what Ohio's doing offensively. I mean, it is a mixture. Some Parker Navarro, some Chase Hendricks, Rodney Harris has gotten involved, and obviously Anthony Tyus, or Trey Tyus for Ohio, spreading the wealth around and keeping Miami off balance.
Blakey, meanwhile, coming off the field. He's headed to the locker room. Tyus, between the tackles, wrestled to the ground by Salopek. 2nd and goal.
I love the patience that he shows when he's running the football. Allows the offensive line, their blocks, to kind of set themselves. And then he has enough explosion and speed to really hit the hole when he needs to. It's impressive. I liked him on film. Really liking him in live action.
4 100-yard games this season. Close to 70 yards rushing in the first half. A chance for more. Miami swarms. Now it's 3rd and goal. Andre, 4-down territory or not?
Yeah, I think if you have a chance to go up by a full score, unless Miami goes down and goes for 2. which I don't think so this early, but they may roll the dice if you get to that point. But they've been pretty good on third down here early.
I think we know what Dan Campbell would do.
Oh, there's no doubt he would go for it. Maybe some of this building rubs off on Ohio.
17th play of this drive. 9.5 minutes long.
Take a timeout.
Timeout, Ohio. Their first charge, timeout of the half. Timeout on the field.
Big sequence upcoming for the Bobcats, looking to make it a 2-score game.
The AT&T Countdown to the College Football Playoff National Championship, Monday, January 20th on ESPN.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
Championship Saturday continues today over on ABC at 4 Eastern from Atlanta. SEC Championship. Georgia beat Texas in the regular season. And then at 8 o'clock, the ACC Championship. Clemson against SMU. The Mustangs.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Undefeated in conference play in the first year
Looking
in the
forward
Atlantic Coast Conference.
to Rhett Lashley and his SMU Mustangs.
Third down and goal for Ohio. Navarro, quarterback power. Pinball backwards.
Gonna have a face mask
down.
and that will give Ohio an automatic first down. Somebody got enough of the face mask of Parker Navarro to draw a flag.
Looks like Ty Wise.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 52. Penalties half distance to goal from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
It's Nasir Washington, the D tackle.
Didn't have it long and may have just kind of brushed it, but it was enough right there to get the attention of the officials and give Ohio a first down here at about the 1 yard line.
And he didn't need to do it.
Well, they had enough red jerseys around Navarro to where he was going nowhere.
Tyus, the running back, out of the pistol. Option. Tyus on the pitch. Miami gets to him. Tyus pushing ahead and stopped just shy of the goal. Second and goal. And this drive, Andre, is now north of 10 minutes long. This will be the 18th play.
This is the recipe for Ohio. Possess the football. He's got one guy outside his end man on the line of scrimmage. It tells you to keep it.
Navarro breaks a tackle in the backfield, and he's got his second rushing touchdown, his 15th rushing touchdown of the season, and Ohio with a 2-score lead.
Well, he came to play today, didn't he?
Officials timeout for an injured defensive player.
Blakely's already out. Matt Solopak may have been the injured player, but he hops up. Actually, there's still a player down on the field. Where everybody gets washed down inside. Nice running lane for Navarro, and he's got enough speed to beat the pursuit of the defense.
It looked like friendly fire on the injury, and not often when Solopak has you in his talons do you get away. And Navarro able to get away. The injured player, Eli Kappas,
timeout.
As Navarro made his move into the end zone, Kappas ran into a teammate. 5:29 to go in a fast-moving opening half. Ohio 13, Miami 3, the PAT when we come back.
Hey, get your head in the game, son. The scout from football college is up in the stands.
Maybe you'd rather go to school for insurance.
I didn't raise no insurance, man.
But you did, Dad. Football's your passion, but mine's providing around-the-clock protection to Progressive customers of Bundle Home and Auto.
Jamie, we need you out here for football. You're giving up on your dream, James.
No, Dad. I'm giving up on yours.
Oh, James, wait! Oh, that's not the exit.
Changes in the air. It's a new era, new team-ups, new stages set. Whose time is it? We'll see. This isn't last season. Nah.
Puts up a three-pointer.
This time, This time, it's different.
Here's where Eli Kappas got hurt. Kind of slams into his own man. Silas Walters, another safety end. And after the play, Matt Salopek, captain, heartbeat of the defense, did not take kindly. His team down 13-3.
Don't know what
Extra
Mason
point
Williams.
coming.
Don't know what he said to him, but obviously Salopek didn't like it.
If you're Ohio, that's not a bear you want to poke.
No.
Spedic on for the PAT. (14-3) Ohio after an 18-play, 82-yard drive that ate up more than 10 minutes of game clock.
The MAC Championship is brought to you by Olive Garden, where there's plenty of holiday cheer and breadsticks to go around.
Nancy Cartwright went to Ohio University. She was their commencement speaker in 2012, and she is the voice of the iconic Bart Simpson for the last 3+ decades. Hey, this is how we tie it all together. Monday Night Football, Bengals, Cowboys. We may get a Super Nintendo Chalmers sighting, maybe Radioactive Man. We've got the Simpsons Fun Day Football, one-of-a-kind NFL experience. Starting at 8, you've got the traditional game with Joe, Troy, or Peyton and Eli as well on ESPN2. Multiple options. As Homer used to say, it takes 2 to lie. 1 to lie and 1 to listen. As Kevin Davis gets out to the 30-yard line. Time to listen to Matt Berry.
And Ace, that was a pros.
Scatterboo, a name you cannot forget.
Some of the best contact balance we have seen this season.
He makes sure you don't forget it either.
We'll need to check on Matt's heart rate at halftime. Arizona State picked to finish last in the Big 12. There's a first down catch. Andre Johnson, the Arizona State transfer. Sometimes the games produce themselves.
He's about the size of the Andre Johnson, obviously, that just went into the Hall of Fame, 6'4", 219. Andre was right around 6'3.5", about 220, but could really fly.
Now Miami's showing a little more urgency on offense. Down 2 scores. Remember, Ohio, after that 10-minute drive, the Bobcats get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter. Mosey pulled down in the backfield. There's Bradley Weaver. He's been creating chaos and havoc all season long.
He is their best player up front, and you kind of see why. Just kind of finds his way to the quarterback, beats the tackle to that side, Reed Holsky, and made his way right to the doorstep of Keon Mosey.
John Young, the left guard for Miami, down after the play.
It's a physical game, and all of a sudden it's the Miami players that are feeling Ohio.
And Andre, not to make too much of this, as Young gets up and walks off on his own power. If Miami doesn't convert this 3rd down, Ohio has the ball before halftime. They have the ball to begin the 3rd quarter.
Could really put a dent in this game and start to really separate from Miami.
And you got an Ohio team that's been eating up clock. They have been imposing their will offensively. Miami may not have enough chances. Kevin Davis lined up in the slot. Gabbert trying to get his play in. Still has plenty of time on the play clock. A lot of autonomy for Gabbert at the line of scrimmage. Here's the pressure. Moves the pocket. Throws downfield. Davis got turned around. Covered by DJ Walker. It's 4th down. Miami's got a punt. And a defense that was just on the field for more than 10 minutes has to go back out there. Miami's hardly had the ball in this second quarter.
It's 10 minutes, 10:14 to be exact, of game time, but over 25 minutes of real time of sitting on the sideline, and yeah, that's a lot of time for the defense to be on the field for Miami.
Fair catch called for and made by Owen at the 24. Tomorrow's the day, noon Eastern on ESPN. It is the exclusive reveal of the final college football playoff rankings and the 12-team bracket, plus all the remaining bowl matchups beyond the playoffs will be announced. The selection special tomorrow at noon on ESPN. Here's my question.
We'll know who's in, who's not, and then we'll have some debate as to who should have gotten in, and you know, we'll get the matchups that we've all been waiting on.
Boise State, they will be in. Winners of the Mountain West last night. Another 200-yard game for Ashton Jeanty. Navarro, keeper, ambushed. Not much, no gain on the play. Second down.
Jeanty, after last night, has gotten a lot of people's attention because they should be in, almost a lock to be in. And I never thought anyone would get close to Barry Sanders' record, let alone maybe break it. Now, Barry did that, I think, in 11 games.
And they didn't count his bowl game.
Exactly. The conference championships and all that weren't around back then, but 2,600 yards rushing in 11 games. Sick production.
And he's got one, maybe a couple more, depending on how Boise fares in the playoffs. Quick slant, another catch for Hendricks. Career-high 6 receptions only in the first half. It's 3rd down and 1. Bobcats have plenty of time, 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout.
He's a good-looking receiver, isn't he? And having his best day in the championship game. So the lights don't bother Chase Hendricks whatsoever.
Big 3rd down. Ohio wants to stay on the field. Miami wants to give its offense another chance before halftime. On the ground, Tyus like a battering ram. 1st down, Ohio.
Just kind of slipping through tackles. Guys, he's so strong that you can't hold on to him with the initial contact, especially if he gets into your chest. You're talking defensive linemen that can't hold on to him. Josh Lacusa bouncing right off Tyus.
Navarro finds Coleman. Finally. First catch of the game for the 1,000-yard receiver for the Bobcats.
You guys saw Matt Salapak really upset after that last touchdown by Ohio, and he's been fuming when he was walking off the field. He was letting the refs have it. He feels like he's been held quite a bit in this contest and also being hit late after play. So obviously Ohio is on red alert when they're dealing with 15 in red, knowing he's the central piece of this defense.
Timeout.
And they know they have to account for him on all fronts, and he's been feeling it, and he's not happy.
Continued chatter with the officials from Salopek as we take the 2-minute timeout in this MAC championship.
Let's review. We're not going to talk about traffic or weather. If anyone brings up lawn care, I will handle it. Hosting can be extremely difficult for young homeowners turning into their parents.
Oh, are you done with this? I'll just take that.
Okay. He's still drinking.
Right. Oh, look what the cat...
Nope. Nope. Let's try again. You wouldn't mind? It gets ugly. You can either take it off or I'll take it off you. Yeah.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
You loved it. Take
Doesn't
it.
want it.
2 powerhouse franchises bring their best for a top 10 showdown. Paige. It's Paige Buckets. Hannah.
What a move.
AZ.
Just a special shooter.
Olivia.
What a bucket.
UConn. Notre Dame. Thursday at 7 on ESPN.
Changes in the air. This isn't last season. This time, it's different.
fourth game of the Big 12 Championship, Iowa State, Arizona State. Plus, it's take two for Georgia and Texas in the SEC Championship. Plus, we had games last night. Friday's finest. Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway joined me. Coming up. Guys, I need this half to go quick so I can get back to the Big 12 viewing party.
I don't know
We'll
if
speed
we
it up
can
for
go
you.
any faster, Matt.
We'll speed it up for you,
I don't know if we can go any faster.
Who you got? Texas, Georgia.
I think Georgia wins. I think Georgia's going to win the whole thing.
I agree with you. I don't know about the whole thing, but they've had some problems against certain teams.
Tyus with a first down. They are so talented. If they cut down on their turnovers, as Miami
Charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
calls the timeout.
The key in that game is getting Beck off to a good start.
Yeah.
If he gets off to a good start, then Texas is in real trouble.
If Beck plays clean, and that's been the problem when they've had their struggles. If Beck is clean, Georgia,
you know, the
is a tough
defense.
out.
You know Georgia's defense is going to show up.
Right.
Now they've got to just take care of the football, play clean early, and kind of march their way on to the playoff.
Andre, this has been a low possession first half. Both teams have controlled the clock, played the clock, Ohio especially. But in the second quarter, it has been all Ohio. Miami's had the ball for 70 seconds.
Texas wins. Is Georgia in?
Yes.
3 losses.
Yes.
I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say they're automatically.
I think they'll get in
after last week's win.
Yeah, nail biter against Georgia
8
Tech.
overtimes, yeah.
Navarro, quick throw. Harris, the reception. I know you loved it. Teams couldn't run out of the shotgun at the 3-yard line.
This ball control by Ohio is mind-numbing for Miami, and it's not looking good defensively. Eli Blakey went into the locker room with an injury now. Nazir Washington, guy in the middle, the defensive tackle, he just walked into the locker room.
And it's a gassed defense, too. Navarro looking for a running lane. Chased by Wise. Navarro turns the corner, picks up the first, and gets out of bounds. And the Ohio bench loves it.
I know how fast Ty Wise is, and he can run. But Navarro hit a gear and just kept him at bay. Had an angle and everything and could not make the play even with an angle. Navarro picks up another Ohio first down. They have been just about flawless on offense since the opening kickoff.
Navarro north of 900 yards rushing for the season. Tyus went over 1,000 yards in the first half.
Or should I say their first possession, because they're going to get it first after halftime.
Navarro's got time. It's juggled and dropped by Hendricks, who was wide open.
Been just about automatic in the passing game for Navarro. And you see Chase Hendricks miss many. That one just couldn't hold on to it. I think he saw he had some space around him, was ready to run before securing the catch. I may come right back to him. I'm a quarterback in the huddle. Hey, I understand. I'm coming right back your way.
He's had a good first half, 6 catches on 8 targets. Navarro lost the ball, picks it up, pitches it forward. Here comes Tyus. Ankle tackled by Kappas. It's a first down at the 21. It'll momentarily stop the clock, and Ohio still has 2 timeouts.
Heck of a job of improvising by Parker Navarro and knowing where guys are on the field. Tyus saw it, turned around, gave his quarterback a place to go immediately with the football, and the result, obviously, a first down for Ohio.
And a timeout by Miami. Their
Timeout.
final.
They need it. Timeout. Talk about a defense that's gassed right now.
And I think Chuck Martin knows the difference right now between holding Ohio to 3 or giving up a potential touchdown. The Bobcats have had the ball in Miami territory on all of their drives. They've controlled the clock. They get the ball to begin the third quarter. And we've seen Navarro a couple of times today turn a broken play and turn it into something positive, making chicken salad, if you will. There's the Taco Bell Live Más student section all season long. Student sections across the country compete to be the Taco Bell Liv Mas Student Section of the Year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more.
I quit Taco Bell for a while when they stopped making the Mexican pizzas. I came back when they went back to them, started producing them again. I'm back, and I'm happy.
Because when you think of Mexican food, you think of pizza.
Yeah, I think of that Mexican pizza, and I can't eat just one. I got to order 2.
1:01 to go, first half. Ohio on the cusp of the red zone. Navarro hit, finds a wide open Williams. His tight end rumbles in for 6.
Put a move on Eli Kappas and left him reaching in the big tight end. All 6'5", 257 pounds of it. Guys shouldn't be able to move like this. I mean, in the open field, you're that big and agile, and watch the move. Oh my goodness. And it's actually Strader, the team's best corner, can't bring the big tight end down in the open field.
Another missed tackle by Miami. Spedic. And the PAT is good. It is a 3-score game. Ohio gets the ball to begin the third quarter, and this now takes Miami out of what it likes to do. You can't play ball control. You can't play the clock anymore. You've only had the ball for 3 plays in 1:10 in this second quarter. Now it takes you out of your DNA.
Oh, what a difference Carson Heidecker and Jacob Dennison has been for Ohio. They were, you've pointed to it and referenced it many times. They were not available in the first matchup against Miami. They're here tonight. They're playing, starting, and owning the line of scrimmage.
Ohio finished this season with 5 straight wins, all by 17 or more points. Their only losses this year, 2 Power 4 schools, Syracuse and Kentucky, and back in October to Miami, but a chance to avenge that.
Without those 2 tackles that I just mentioned.
Right.
Playing tonight, and my goodness, a lot of good things happening for Ohio in this one.
101st meeting between Ohio and Miami, a rivalry that about 20 some odd years ago was dubbed the Battle of the Bricks by the marketing folks. Not much for Kevin Davis. So Miami out of timeouts, 48 seconds to go in this first half. We'll start deep in their own zone as we look at the current college football playoff rankings and the bracket, brought to you by AT&T Boise State.
Based on current rankings right now, how these teams are. Boise State, one of the top 4. That should be a good one. Arizona State, Penn State, if it works out that way.
Is SMU in with a loss? That's going to be a big question. Should Clemson win the ACC championship?
I don't know if they have a win against top 25 competition.
Miami will just run the ball with Mosey. He goes nowhere. Boy, Ohio's defense fresh and ready to go. Were you surprised by that play call, well, given the score, and that Ohio gets the ball to start the third?
Not really, because they're just trying to get a drive starter going. And
no timeouts.
If they pop a run, then obviously they hurry and start trying to maybe spike the ball after a first down and get themselves going in that manner. But they're not going to rush here because no timeouts. I'd figure they would at least try to get a field goal out of this before halftime.
Just going to take a knee. And on its last possession, Ohio in
Pepper Championship Week.
Welcome back to the MAC Championship on ESPN, part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Ohio had the ball 3 times in the first half, only 3. Scored a touchdown each time. They're halfway to a MAC title. Anish Shroff Andre Ware. We'll get to Paul Carcaterra in just a moment. Ohio had the ball. They controlled the game, and they imposed their will in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it was on the ground, really. Parker Navarro averaging just under 5 yards a carry. When you talk about Trey Tyus, he averaged 5 yards a carry. So the two of them together, the mix and match between the two of them and the running game and the offensive line, dominated the first half of this one.
And now Ohio will get the ball to start the third quarter. One of their drives in that second quarter, more than 10 minutes long. And Andre, you mentioned Parker Navarro, his ability to improvise. He's made plays with his feet and his arm in the first half.
Yeah, he has. I mean, you talk about fumbling a snap, picking it up. They needed a first down. He's able to get the first down. Looking to throw here. Fumbles the snap again. Finds Trey Tyus. Another first down. They just kept generating first downs. Parker Navarro with 2 first-half touchdown runs in this one. 2 of the 3 drives, he got himself into the end zone and then threw a touchdown pass to Mason Williams. Just dominance for Ohio in the first half.
3 total touchdowns for Navarro. A MAC leading 15 rushing touchdowns in the season now. And they come out throwing. Finding Rodney Harris. First down, 11 yards as we check in with Paul.
They are the champs. We knocked them down, but we know they are going to get back up. That's what Tim Albin, the Ohio coach, just told me moments ago. He loves the physicality with his offensive line. That's allowed them to just destroy this clock. Miami only had 5 plays for 2 minutes and 2 seconds the entire second quarter. Parker Navarro, he went on to say, has been super creative with his feet. He's extending plays, and field level, I'll tell you what, guys, he doesn't look like a big, powerful type athlete, but he just knows how to use his feet and how to find seams.
He has been outstanding today after struggling in that mid-October loss to Miami.
I'd say slippery is how I would describe Navarro.
Gets away from Ugu, finds a wide-open Coleman Owen, who catapults in Miami territory. How about Owen authoring the 3rd 1,000-yard season in Bobcat history as there's a Miami player down. It's one of the corners, Luke Evans, and Miami thin at corner to begin with.
Yeah, Owen went off against Ball State. 142 and 2 touchdowns on just 5 receptions. And he's their top receiver. You mentioned it, going over 1,000 yards. Only 2 catches in this one because they know Miami has been bracketing Owen. So guys like Hendricks, other players, Mason Williams, the tight end, Tyus in the passing game. Everyone around Owen has stepped up in his absence.
Luke Evans still down for Miami, which has been hit by some injuries on the defensive side in this MAC championship.
On the field.
Official timeout. Luke Evans taken off the field for Miami, so they will substitute William Hardrick opposite Rayon Strader at cornerback. Parker Navarro much better today versus the first meeting against Miami.
And that's 2 starters in the defensive backfield for Miami. Blakey and now Luke Evans out of the game.
Coppice, who's in for Blakey, is the 1 high safety. Quick slant, Owen the catch, close to another first. The play selection to begin this third quarter tells you Ohio's not going to be conservative. They respect Miami. They had success throwing the ball on early downs in the first half. They continue with that here in the third. And going no huddle. Tyus squeaks out a first down.
That's something out of nothing there, but it's a lot of red jerseys around the line of scrimmage. They're able to get the push necessary for Tyus to pick up the first down. I don't think we could say enough about the job that Ohio has done on the offensive line. They have owned the line of scrimmage. That gives you the ability to run your entire playbook. Whenever you want to run certain plays, you can get it done because of the play of the big guys up front.
Navarro chased by Ugu, floats it downfield. Owen, the catch for a score.
What a throw. What a throw. Under duress, Parker Navarro is able to drop a dime to Coleman Owen, and he has been kind of blanketed. They know where he is, making sure he's taken away. But when you lose two starters like Evans and Blakey on the back end, now things start to open up a little bit, start to splinter. And when you have a quarterback that can drop it in like that, boy, it makes it look easy, doesn't it, Anish?
Yeah, he had safety coverage, took advantage, and usually when the ball's in the air, it finds number 6 in white. He came into the game with almost half of the team's receiving yards, with more than a third of the team's catches, and now he has 8 of Ohio's 14 receiving touchdowns on the season.
The MAC Championship is brought to you by Taco Bell. Download the Taco Bell app and vote for the Live Más Student Section of the Year.
Redhawks defense looks good, but I'm looking at fourth-year Bobcats quarterback Parker Navarro. Yeah. 65% completion rate. If he can get going, he'll tilt this in favor of the Bobcats. I'm going underdog Bobcats here.
Yes.
Willy Wonka may have just pulled the golden ticket. Wow, what a spot on call so far. Navarro
kind of look alike.
4 touchdowns in the game. They do. Yeah. I like Navarro's mustache a little better.
I do too. Going to grow in a little bit more on the other side, but Navarro's he's developed.
188 yards, 16 of 19 passing through the air. 2 touchdowns passing, 2 rushing. Bouncing kick fielded by Kevin Davis. Miami looking for a spark of any kind. And they'll start inside their own 25-yard line. Hey, you're not off, Andre. They do look alike.
I'm going to grow that mustache in a little bit more.
November's over, though. Similar hairstyle, too.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he chose. Why he went with the underdog, Ohio. Resemblance. This is a must-score possession.
I was about to say
for Miami.
Virgil tiptoes the sideline, driven down hard by the safety Dustin Johnson. It feels as if Miami needs a touchdown on this drive, or this will be an Ohio coronation for the balance of the game.
Yeah, the big 3, and I'm talking about Tracy, Virgil, and McDonald. They've got to come to life, because now you have to pretty much abandon your game plan down 28-3.
Mosey, no running room to be found, only a yard, 2nd and 9.
Virgil's got to touch the ball more. He's their leading receiver in terms of yards. He's long, he's fast, excellent versus man-to-man. McDonald, it's the first 3.5 games, but he's excellent after the catch. And then we saw what Tracy was able to do the opening possession for Miami. So they've got to start to get the ball and spread it around to those 3 receivers.
Miami scored a field goal on its opening possession, nothing since. Gabbert 7 out of 12. Tracy with another catch. It brings up 3rd down. Been a tough go offensively. Miami's rushing attack has been stymied by the #1 run defense in the MAC. And no explosive plays to speak of for the Redhawks.
They're only going to get better. They came in averaging 97 yards a game, and they have refused to allow Miami to get the running game started.
Empty set on 3rd down. Ohio brings the blitz. Incomplete for the tight end. Cold iron. And it's 4th down. And the punt team led by Bevelheimer will come on.
That's a great football name, isn't it? Cold iron.
There's a great...
Maybe he makes our all-name team.
Yeah, there's a great Kipling poem, Cold Iron, where the end of it is something along the lines of iron cold iron is a master of them all.
We got to get him going as well in this game.
Line drive kick. Owens got a chance here. 2 career punt return touchdowns. The transfer from Northern Arizona. The former Lumberjack. One man to beat, but there is a flag. Owen zagging outside the 15, but a penalty marker all the way back at the Ohio 35.
What a return by Owen. They're getting it done, Anish, offensively, defensively, and now on special teams.
That ball comes out at the end. That was the oohing and eyeing from the crowd. Lengthy discussion.
Ruling on the field is that the returner was down prior to the ball being fumbled. During the return, illegal blindside block, return team number 42. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st and 10, Ohio.
That's coming all the way back. Take a look at this fumble. Remember, every play in college football is reviewed.
Oh, that's a fumble.
That's a fumble, definitely, and a clear recovery by Miami.
Yeah, Miami jumps up the moment here for Miami.
It's going to be a question of Miami.
Had been ruled down after the penalty
comes up. Miami hitting the ground, and there are 2 Miami players there, but ultimately it's Powell. I think it's going to be Miami's football.
Yeah, the only thing surprising here is that it's taken this long.
It's one of the keys to the game that Chuck Martin told us. You got to take away the football, get chunk plays. They haven't been able to do that, and don't give up chunk plays. They've given up a few of them in this game, but I think finally they've turned over Ohio.
Andre, why is this taking so long? And Chuck Martin seems to be upset. And clear as day, the ball was out.
There's no doubt.
And it was an immediate recovery in the aftermath.
The ruling on the field. So you can see it there. Ball carrier was ruled down. No fumble, but this may change right here.
During the previous play, the ball was fumbled and recovered by Miami. However, the foul that occurred was committed by Miami, number 43, for an illegal blindside block. By rule, that penalty is enforced from the previous spot. 15-yard penalty, will be 4th down for Miami.
Let's go back, Andre. It appeared initially they had, I thought, called the penalty on Ohio.
I mean, if you're blocking, it's Ohio that's blocking.
Now watch right here. Okay, there's the penalty. Yeah, that is an illegal blindside block in every way.
Not sure why Grant Lyons decided to hit a guy that wasn't involved in the play.
And Chuck Martin livid.
Yeah, I mean, because he said a blindside block, you automatically think that it's the return team. But that's clear that it's Lyons. So not only do they lose the football, it's going to be 15 yards and a re-kick.
And you've given Owen a chance to catch his breath, get some wind back, and he'll have another opportunity to return a punt.
Man, what a turn of events that was.
The pendulum was about to swing.
Right.
Now another delay.
Okay. The previous play is under further review.
We just did that.
And I was scratching.
The way block called on Miami at the Ohio 35-yard line. Owen then fumbles at the end of the play. Miami recovers. The first review negated the fumble and the Miami recovery because of the penalty on Miami.
After further discussion, the penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. It will be 4th down, Miami.
Now this feels like Groundhog Day.
I think he just said that initially.
I'm just waiting for the alarm to hit 6 a.m.
Well, I'm waiting for another buzz down and do it again.
Heffelheimer kicks it away. Another line drive. This one bounces. Owen watches it go out of bounds at the 33 of Ohio. So, after all that, it's Bobcat ball. 10:15 to go in the third. Ohio with a commanding 28-3 lead. And this is a Bobcats program where their last MAC title came in 1968. However, in the era of league championships, they have been in the MAC title game 5 times. 0-5. 2011, they had a 20-0 halftime lead on NIU, lost. Nearly upset what was, at the time, an undefeated Western Michigan team in 2016. And then 2 years ago, fell short against Toledo. Miami won this game a year ago, knocking off Toledo. First down, it's Anthony Tyus picking up 5 more. Up to 87 yards on the ground. He crossed the millennium mark earlier in this game.
Great block by right guard Christoph Atkinson. Kick out. He had to be patient and wait for him to come from the right side of the offensive line to kick out to the offense's left. I'm sorry. Boy, I tell you what, Tyus runs with so much patience.
Ohio will take its time. Bruno, the motion man. Option. Tyus. Stood up. Ugu got to him only a yard. It's 3rd down.
Frazier as well, the defensive tackle, helping out on that stop. Solid player. Came over for Mercer.
Now the story for Ohio so far, 4 score and 7. They've had the ball 4 times, they've scored 4 times, and it's been 7 each time. 5th drive. Navarro 16 out of 19 through the air, 17 out of 20. Owen has come to life here in this second half. It's his 5th catch.
Another first down. I mean, and when you need a big play and you need to convert on a 3rd down, you go where you know the bread is buttered, and Coleman Owen certainly can do that. Excellent route runner, gets good separation, and the timing of the throw is what makes the play.
He had one of his worst games of the season in the regular season against Miami. Just 2 catches, 22 yards, 5 for 73 and a touchdown today. Navarro on the keeper. Snakes around the edge and bumped out of bounds by Kappas.
Two different occasions, I've seen Navarro outrun Ty Wise, who had an angle, and then there, Adam Trick, a defensive end, who could not run down Parker Navarro. Turns into another Ohio first down.
Ohio content to milk that play clock with the big lead. Across the middle, it's the big tight end Williams, who had a touchdown earlier.
Williams was hurt last year as a true freshman. They redshirted him, and now he's starting to reap the benefits of him being in the program for a year, learning this offense, and really kind of asserting himself as another option for Parker Navarro in the passing game.
Fifth straight drive, Ohio has marched inside the Miami 30. Navarro again keeps changing direction. Ends up picking up
a spin move on him. Navarro's doing everything. Running through tackles, hitting the spin move. Wow, what a game he's having. 2 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. He's accounted for all 28 points in some manner that Ohio has. He's playing the game of his life right now.
Tyus in a phone booth. Nice. Brought down by Wise, but not before a first down. Andre, what has been the most impressive part of Ohio's offense today?
I think it's been the offensive line, and you don't really talk about them a lot because you see the production from a guy like Tyus, a guy like Navarro, Owen, Hendricks. But the big guys up front, they've protected well when they want to drop back and pass, and they've certainly opened the hole and reestablished the line of scrimmage past where the football is marked.
Ohio averaging almost 5 yards per rush, almost 7 yards per play, and they are perfect on third downs, 5 for 5. Play action. Looking for Owen, broken up, incomplete.
Got a player down here right now, Miami defensive lineman, but Parker Navarro is in a zone right now. Andre, you mentioned. Keep in mind, too, just 2 years ago.
Offense, number 57. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
He had Tommy John surgery. He told me he feels like his arm strength is totally back, but sometimes there's a little fatigue, and he is one tough kid. You're seeing him take a ton of hits in this game, and the injuries in the past, he's had broken collarbones, the Tommy John surgery, and I had a great chat with him this week, too. I was on a Zoom with him. He had a Pat Tillman jersey, who's his hero. He's from Arizona.
Yeah.
And a Rocky poster. You know there is no give up in this kid.
Some guys come back, their arms even stronger after Tommy John surgery.
You see it in baseball quite a bit. Taking a shot, incomplete for Owen. Good coverage that time. It's going to bring up a second and long.
After the holding penalty, you brag on the offensive line. See what you made me do, Anish? Brag on the offensive line, and you get a holding penalty by Heidecker, the left tackle. And this is maybe about the first time that Ohio's been behind the sticks.
That was the first penalty on Ohio today. Tyus at 95 yards rushing. Navarro's run for 55. Quarterback draw. Navarro serpents to the outside. Flag comes in at the end.
And maybe another hold. Yeah, it's getting ever so close to the first punt by Ohio if they keep up this.
Holding, offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Second down.
Atkinson.
Sixth-year senior, 2-year starter.
He's a steady player, is the way that this coaching staff describes him. A handful of jersey. Once a guy changes direction, the ball carrier, it is tough not to grab and hold one of those big offensive linemen. You just kind of feel where you want to take him. And the minute he changes directions, it doesn't seem right for an offensive lineman, and that's when you grab and hold.
Second and Bloomfield Hills. Hendricks pulls one in, and that sets up a third down. And if you're Ohio now, indoors, you're in field goal range. You don't want to do anything to give the ball back and give momentum to Miami. No. I'd expect something close to the vest.
We've seen them pick up 3rd and long, but certainly not 3rd and 21. So you want to make sure that you don't give up enough and you still make this somewhat of an uncomfortable field goal attempt.
5 for 5 on 3rd down today. Navarro in trouble and pulled down back at the 35 by Ty Wise. That's a big sack. And now this field goal attempt will be a 50-plus yarder for Spedick.
What did Coach Martin tell us about Ty Wise? He's an excellent, a dynamic pass rusher, and they love getting him in those types of situations. He's quick off the ball, is able to make his way to Navarro.
Spedick from 50-plus in his career, 0 for 3, 0 for 1 this season. This is from 52. It would be a career long by 6 yards. Kicking indoors.
Plenty.
Nailed it.
Even when things go wrong for Ohio, they somehow go right. Ohio adding 3 points, up 31-3 when we come back.
College Football Championship weekend continues today.
SEC and ACC championships later today. Georgia Dogs on the bus, getting ready for Texas in Atlanta. It should be a pro UGA crowd for that one. Clemson and SMU in Charlotte.
That's great access.
Arizona State on its way. What a season for the Sun Devils and Kenny Dillingham. They're up big on Iowa State with a chance to go to the playoff with a win. That team was picked to finish last in the Big 12.
Just opened up a can on Iowa State.
Kenny Dillingham certainly at the top of most lists for National Coach of the Year. Miami can't find a spark. Mosey tripped up by Adonis Williams for a loss.
Keep in mind, this is the best rush defense in the entire MAC. Just allowing 97 yards and nowhere for Mosey today to find any type of light or running room.
Quick throw to Mosey. And what's most impressive, their defensive coordinator from last year, Spence Nowitzki, left for Memphis in the offseason. They had an exodus of players from a very good defense on a 10-win team a year ago. This Ohio team lost 5 starters after spring ball.
Yeah.
And the way they have retooled and reshaped this defense, some guys coming back, others they found in the portal, it has been most impressive.
And it's important to Ohio to find guys that have played a lot of snaps.
Gabbert gets crunched and almost intercepted by Roman Perotti. Braylon Henderson, the redshirt junior from Dan Marino's alma mater, Central Catholic High in Pittsburgh, with the pressure.
Would have been Perotti's second interception of the year. Not sure what Gabbert was looking at. He actually likely got blinded by a defensive rusher, Henderson, right in his face. I'm telling you what, defensively, Ohio has impressed. They've impressed on both sides of the ball and as well in special teams, all 3 phases.
Complete domination since the first Miami drive. Owen knocked backwards on the return. 48-yard kick by Bevelheimer. Ohio's played in 6 MAC championship games, looking for their first win in this game. In 06 and 09, they lose to Central Michigan, and Dan Lefebvre, the great Chippewas quarterback, 2011, had a 20-0 halftime lead before losing on a last-second field goal against NIU. More recently, losing close in 2016 to Western Michigan, falling short by 10 2 years ago to Toledo. Leaving little doubt this afternoon in Detroit. Battle of the Bricks, rivalry game as Tyus plunges ahead and drags a defender, Caldwell, for a gain of about 7.
You know, he is impressive in terms of what he's able to do with that big frame. He's 6'1", 225 pounds, patient runner. But there, he shows you as well, he can stick his foot in the ground and get vertical in a hurry.
And Tyus over 100 yards rushing for the 3rd straight game. 5th time this season. The transfer from Northwestern. Navarro will keep it. He has turned the corner every time. Caldwell slows him up. That's been most impressive. He gets to the edge, Andre. Yeah. He doesn't get caught.
He's outrun Subtle there. We saw him outrun Wise earlier. Just the defensive guys on the other side, the edge players have no chance of catching Parker Navarro. Once you take the false step down inside, as he's riding Tyus down inside, you can't catch up to him. He's sick athletically.
To the air. Hendricks dropped it. Second drop by Hendricks.
Now, I don't make excuses for receivers that when the ball touches their hands, but that one had a lot of flutter on it. And he's trying to catch it with his hands away from his body. You see it coming and it's fluttering like that, go ahead and, you know, catch it. Have a backstop, so to speak. Catch that one with your body and then turn up. Impossible to catch that kind of ball with his hands. Waiting on the play clock.
Game clock is stopped. Low snap. Quick slant. Broken up. Silas Walters. Walters and Strader, both amongst the national leaders in passes defended. In fact, Strader leading the country in that department. Walters 7th.
A solid play
for an offensive injury
by Silas Walters. Got one of the Ohio players down.
It's the right tackle, Jacob Dennison. Missed 4 games this year mid-season.
You're looking at his left shoulder. Yeah, I told you that a couple of weeks ago we were in San Antonio and I had breakfast with my high school coach, and he just believed that you never lay on the field. That was his philosophy, especially if it were an upper body injury. Get to the sideline. Not going to show them that we're not hurt. We're a tough program. So if you can get up and walk to the sideline, we'll examine you when you get to the sideline, not on the field. He just never believed in laying on the field.
Yeah, you can see why. It's Atkinson who was the injured lineman, not Dennison. And their rushing game has been there today. Tyus and Navarro, that's been the story all season. I like what Tim Albin told us. You talk about toughness, Andre.
Mm-hmm.
He told us a football team takes on the personality of its quarterback. He said Parker Navarro at his core is tough. And we, as a result, are a tough football team. That has been on full display this afternoon.
Yeah, when you see him taking on defenders and slipping out of tackles. First punt that we've had a chance to see here for Ohio as well. We are late into this game as we approach the 4th quarter. But you're right, he is a tough individual and has had a grand effect on what's gone on here offensively for Ohio.
Jack Wilson on to punt for the first time. 24-year-old Australian out of the now famous Pro Kick Academy gets it away. Fair catch called for and made by Cade McDonald. If you are a MAC fan, and we know you love the MACtion weeknights late in the season, you have to have ESPN Plus. The MAC on ESPN Plus, your exclusive home for hundreds of events, including all MAC championships. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Those Tuesday, Wednesday games that you get in the snow in Kalamazoo or Ypsilanti or DeKalb, some of the theater that you get in those games midweek. It makes for such a great appetizer to the college football weekend as Mosey gets to the outside for a nice run.
It'd be his best run of the game. Kind of had him bottled up for most of this, and if you're going to do some damage, you might want to start now. This is, I said before, this is a must-score possession for Miami. I think they've got to score just about every possession from here to the house to keep up with Ohio.
And may need an onside kick or two on the way.
But to get themselves back in this thing, no doubt.
Gabbert over the middle, and he finds Cold Iron, the redshirt senior tight end who missed all of last year.
Love that name, Jack Cold Iron. Covington, or Florence, Kentucky, Covington High School.
It's a name right out of Game of Thrones. Gabbert will try to take off, and he's clipped. Shea Taylor, third-team all-conference linebacker, who now has 6 straight games with the TFL, and that fittingly takes us to the final stanza of this MAC championship. Ohio dominating on defense. They've scored on all but one possession on offense. They're 15 minutes away. From Ford Field in Detroit, welcome back to the MAC Championship on ESPN, part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra. Ohio has been living in plus territory all afternoon. Miami has run 30 plays total, and they face a 2nd and 11 to begin the 4th quarter. The Redhawks will need a comeback that will live in Maction lore to pull this out. Maybe it starts there. Cade McDonald, who missed a month with a hamstring, came back in the regular season finale with a first down catch.
Yeah, close to 50 catches, close to 600 yards on those and 3 touchdowns. I said earlier, all 3 guys, Tracy, Virgil, and McDonald, have to get involved in this passing game to give Miami a chance to come back.
Gabbert again, the check down. There is Tracy, one of the big 3. One of the things Miami did this year, Andre, they had some injuries. They had to figure out how the pieces fit. So they've used more 3-4 wide receiver sets than they've done historically under Chuck Martin.
Yeah. I think the strength is obviously a experienced quarterback in Gabbert and an offensive line that can give him time to deal the ball around.
Shot play into triple coverage, not close. 3rd and 2. And one of the things Miami found was at those 4 wide sets, they were better at running the ball. But with the way the score is, this takes Miami out of everything it likes to do.
Well, I don't understand when teams spread you out and they're able to run the ball, then they get down in the red zone or inside the 10-yard line and pack it in. You're just bringing guys to the party. Keep them spread out. It's easier blocking angles for the offensive line and a little more space for the running back to maneuver.
4 down territory here on 3rd and 2.
Timeout, Ohio.
That's
the
something
first charge timeout of the 2nd half.
I've never understood. You get down, you go down the field, you're boat racing people.
It'll be a 30-second timeout.
By spreading them out, and then you get down there and you want to go 2 tights and, you know, a fullback in the game and everybody's tight to the formation. A lot easier to play defense against that.
We see that a lot with spread teams.
Yep.
You get
and then they do it from the shotgun.
The 20,
you really want to drive me crazy. Tighten it down and then go to the shotgun out of it.
I would have loved your reaction for the overtimes in the Georgia Tech game. Out of the shotgun.
Oh, I was
the 3-yard line.
I was
all
throwing
those
stuff.
2-point conversions.
I was throwing stuff all around the room when that was going on. Couldn't understand why each team decided, oh, it's time to go to the air when you've just been gouging people on the ground or gouging the other team on the ground. Never understood it.
3rd and 2. Brett Gabbert in this 7-game Miami win streak. 16 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. First team All-MAC after a gruesome leg injury. Ended his season last October against Toledo. He feared he would never walk normally, let alone play football. And this has been a redemption song in 2024 for Gabbert.
Ohio's showing a blitz here, and here they come.
Gabbert will step up. He's flushed. That ball tipped, incomplete. Dustin Johnson, grad transfer from Northern Colorado, got his Bobcat paw on it.
John Hauser, their defensive coordinator, told us he's played over 2,000 snaps of his college career. I don't know how accurate that is, but he's played a lot of football. Experience on the back end. Grad student out of Northern Colorado. He had a heck of a play there.
He's battled through some injuries, and now Miami, who's only gone for it 8 times on 4th down, and taking a long time to get settled. Play clock already down to 2, down to 1, and they're going to have to burn a timeout.
Timeout, Miami. Their
Gabbert
first charge
shaking
timeout
his
of the
head,
half.
and with good reason.
Timeout on the field.
Well, this is not where Miami usually lives. They're the least have the least 4th down attempts in the FBS. So let's see how things work out on the other side.
Matt Berry back in our college football studio. It is a sparky statement in the Big 12 championship. Cam Skattebo, 3rd touchdown of the game, and it is 45-10, Arizona State over Iowa State. Don't forget, coming up, SEC championship. Can Quinn Ewers get his revenge and win the league title? You'll find out next.
Matt, thank you. Screen pass to Tracy.
Putting a beat down on Iowa State.
Able to convert 4th down for Miami.
They go to their playmaker, and Ron Tracy, their leading receiver, and he's able to deliver a 1st down and keep this drive going for Miami.
Gabbert launches too high. So with Arizona State about to win the Big 12, if you're keeping score, that means Arizona State, and if Oregon wins the Big 10, you could have former Pac-12 teams winning the Big 10 and the Big 12, a former Big 12 team winning the SEC, and a former AAC team in SMU potentially winning the ACC. Reminds me of Malachi from Children of the Corn screaming Outlander.
They're not even getting fully paid yet, are they? You have to spend a little probationary period before you get the real money.
Well, SMU,
they're not getting any.
We don't want the TV money. Our boosters will take care of that. We want the ability to be in a power conference, and in season 1, they ran the table in conference play. The only loss to BYU, a game we did on a Friday night early in the year. Nice run there by Mosey for a 1st down, a 3rd down conversion. Now SMU avoided Miami, avoided Clemson in the regular season. They'll get Clemson tonight.
I really wanted to see Miami and SMU because of the relationship that Rhett Lashlee had at Miami. He was the offensive coordinator there. Different in terms of the transfer portal for him. It was guys he knew, that he had coached, that had been on the staff at Miami, that came to SMU.
Dangerous throw, intercepted by Pearson. And he will go down in the end zone, a touchback. Gabbert turns it over. Pearson with his team high 4th interception of the season. 15 career picks between junior college and Ohio.
Ohio getting it done in all 3 phases: offense, special teams, as well as defense. Dominance by Ohio.
The MAC Championship is brought to you by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Be a 2%er. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply.
If Ohio holds on for the win, and they've got a commanding lead, the Bobcats would be the 5th different MAC champion in as many years. It's a rivalry between these two, the Battle of the Bricks. 101st meeting all time. Stakes never higher. And for the first time in the history of this rivalry, which dates back more than a century, Ohio and Miami playing on a neutral field. Tyus hammerheads for 9. Paul?
Our Saturday spotlight is on Miami tackle machine Matt Salapak. After an undergrad degree in finance, Matt's getting his master's in sports analytics. He presented his thesis 2 weeks ago on using offensive tendencies to predict play families. Extensive data was collected in the running game with back alignments and big body packages, while the data in the pass game would focus on 3 wides to one side and protecting and predicting the routes based on boundary receivers, for example. And Matt picked these topics in September, guys, and he decided to pick one team to focus on. That one team, well, you guessed it, it was Ohio U, because of the consistent variables and scheme over the last 5 years. He told me he knew a lot about this staff. The staff was consistent on the other side, and after his playing days, he told me he could see himself using his finance degree and sports analytics background working in an NFL front office or a scouting department. And after spending some time with him, he would be a home run hire. Talk about a junkie of a linebacker type player. He watches 16 to 20 hours of film a week, and that's the kind of guy you want in your scouting department, Andre.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's where the game's gone. It's analytics. And you can find the tendencies of teams and identify where the ball's going, when they're going to do certain things. Certainly an advantage, and very bright, smart young man.
And obviously it didn't work out today in terms of all the background knowledge with Ohio just playing unbelievable. But if you look at the body of work and what he's done over the years, 4 straight 100 tackle seasons, and he's been seeing every single offense in this league multiple times, and every coordinator, every coach is glad to see him go.
A little bit of Peyton Wilson that the Steelers drafted out of North Carolina State.
Tyus steers outside, driven back by Caldwell, but not before a first down. You know, the thing about Salapak, who was Defensive Player of the Year last season, MVP on the defensive side of the MAC championship game last year, his instincts, and Chuck Martin just raved about him being in the right place. I guess they say not a first down. Looked like Tyus had forward progress. 3rd and 1. But they love his instincts. He kind of said he's Luke Kuechly light with his instincts. And, you know, Salapak and Gabbert, those are 2 shoes that will not be easy to fill for Miami. Those are dinosaur footprints that are left behind. They go right back to Tyus. It's a tired Miami defense, and Ohio has imposed its will. They've had balance, 200 plus through the air, closing in on 200 on the ground. Navarro has been sublime, and Tyus has been the workhorse.
Yeah, and you look at Tyus. Tyus has the ability to get what coaches refer to as skinny in the hole. Makes it tough to tackle him as a big back at 6'1". Mentioned this earlier, 6'1", 225 pounds. But when contact is coming, he somewhat gets smaller, able to get lower, slithers through, and then all of a sudden he's off and running.
There's a slant. Max Rodarte, first catch of the game, and turns into a big gainer all the way out to the 31.
Well, he is spreading the ball around like nobody's business. I mean, every receiver, you talk about Hendricks, Owen, Williams, just a lot of guys. And now Rodarte, 6 receivers have caught a pass from Parker Navarro. That is tough to defend when you're trying to zero in and get stops.
Navarro.
And it's frustrating because you don't know how you're going to be attacked, where you're going to be hit. You know, different guys making plays. Here comes Tyus back in the game. He's had a catch for a big run and a first down, and that was off a busted play.
And Navarro's ability to ad-lib is being on display.
Yep. The fumble snap results in a first down a couple of times.
Ohio 6 for 8 in this game. Third downs. They've been almost perfect. And Tyus looks to have close to another first down. He does.
Kind of has that Le'Veon Bell style where he just waits and waits. The blocks set themselves and then boom, explodes through.
You hear a lot of offensive linemen talk about blocking for a running back who allows them to set up blocks.
Yes.
When they say that, what do they mean?
Well, they're patient. They don't want guys running into their backs and not allowing them to get leverage on a defender, or especially on the defensive line. So they appreciate it when you're allowed to engage, turn the guy, and now you're through the hole.
Tyus, open sesame! Exclamation point, Ohio.
Well, he has basically capped off one heck of a game today. Trey Tyus, their vocal leader on offense. He gets everybody going, and he got himself going in this one early and often. 7 possessions, 1 field goal and a punt, the rest touchdowns.
He's a Michigan kid from about 2 hours outside of Detroit. And Andre, you played for the Detroit Lions. You played in this area. For Michigan kids to play on this field,
oh, it's huge. It's huge, big time. You grow up wanting to play in this facility, and to have the type of game that Tyus is having, unbelievable. A memory he'll have forever.
AT&T is keeping you connected with our Bracket Insights. Sign up now at ESPN.com for the first ever College Football Playoff Bracket Challenge. Here's how the current rankings would break down. The playoff bids, obviously by conference. Does that align, Andre, with what you're thinking?
I think so. I think it's designed to obviously have those 2 conferences up top, get 4 teams in, and everybody else has 1. You know, like it or not.
Big Ten's got 4. It's been a top-heavy season for the Big Ten. The SEC has cannibalized itself in a lot of ways.
I think the Big Ten has 1 legitimate team, and that's Oregon. Everybody else can be had. You know, Ohio State can be had.
We saw that last week.
Penn State certainly can be had. They are prime and destined to throw up at some point, and Indiana can be had, I think.
I think Oregon can be had. They've had some close calls. Ohio State at home, Wisconsin on the road. I don't think anyone's invincible.
Now, early in the year, Oregon got a scare not only from Boise State, but from Idaho. I'll throw this one out at you, Andre. Arizona State, big win today against a ranked Iowa State team.
I wouldn't sign up for that game to go play Arizona State anywhere.
A lot of confidence, momentum, but a question for you and the committee. Has Arizona State done enough to potentially jump a Boise State and be a top 4 team and get that first round bye?
Strength of schedule, I would say yes.
I think that becomes one of the intriguing elements tomorrow.
Now, Boise's had an outstanding season. Don't get me wrong, because you put them on the schedule, you got to take them and line them up as they come. But they're getting way too much credit for a loss to Oregon, and a loss, I'm saying a loss to Oregon, than people they're giving credit for.
Well, they have 0 top 25 wins, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
You know, when I think of this, as we see Miami with a nice run up the middle, I thought the committee set a precedent and let us into the way they're thinking. When they said Alabama gets in ahead of Miami and rank them higher, I think if SMU loses today, they have a similar situation as Miami. 0 top 25 wins. Okay, Alabama has 3. So I think if SMU loses, they're in trouble based on the way that this committee is thinking and what they showed us last week with Alabama and Miami.
That would be no ACC teams in the college football playoffs.
Kevin Davis, third down. Oh, you go back to Boise. They did beat a ranked UNLV team last night. So assuming UNLV stays in the top 25, not a sure thing, they would have 2 wins against UNLV. Other than that, yes, they beat Washington State, a power conference school. They have the close loss to Oregon. Not a ton of meat on that Boise State resume, but part of it is subjective, and it's the eye test. And Andre, we've talked about it as Davis gets to midfield. You watch Ashton Jeanty. I wouldn't want to play Boise State.
No, not at all. And you know, that's a team. It's hard to get guys to just kind of come together and you mold a team. Boise State playing well. It'll be hard to beat them. It'll be tough to beat them. And then you got Jeanty to deal with.
I'll tell you the team that everyone's probably happy that's not going to be in the field, South Carolina. You talk about a red-hot team down the stretch.
They are emptying the cupboard in terms of running backs.
And quarterback Henry Hessen, the backup, is in there.
Malinowski on the carry there. We saw Brunson, Davis, obviously Mosey. They like Brunson in short yardage situations. He's got 2 touchdown runs in that role.
Let's put a bow on Brett Gabbert's career. Paul mentioned him in the open. This was a guy who was a freshman, a true freshman in 2019, freshman of the year in the MAC. Hessen scrambles and pulled out of bounds. He wins a league championship in 2019 in that freshman season. 2021 Frisco Bowl MVP, all conference. Then the following season, the injuries start to hit. Shoulder injury, season KO'd after 4 games. Last year, gruesome leg injury. He wasn't sure if he would play football again, let alone walk normally. Comes back this year, finishes his career with numbers that are right up there with some of the best quarterbacks in program history. A Zach Dysert, a Ben Roethlisberger. How do you look at Gabbert's legacy?
I think it's firmly entrenched, and you know, he certainly didn't want to go out this way. 38-3 and watching Henry Hessen kind of finish things off to get some experience in a big game for some younger players that may be part of this program, or Hessen may be the starter at least going into next year, the spring, I mean. But I think he has solidified himself as one of the greats that has played at Miami.
He'll watch from the bench. Henry Hessen at the triggers.
Took a lot of courage for Gabbert to come back this season.
Yeah, no doubt. Give is to Jordan Brunson. Slammed down in the backfield by R.J. Kiekler. And this Ohio defense, Andre, as they will take over on downs, all the pieces that they lost. They got ravaged by the transfer portal in the offseason. The defensive coordinator goes to Memphis. They lose a bunch of players. They almost lost Bradley Weaver, their top pass rusher. He went into the portal in the offseason, decided to return. He wanted to be at Ohio. He's about to celebrate a MAC championship. I don't think you can say enough about the job Tim Albin did holding this team together. We talk about the portal and player movement at the power conference schools. It is a whole nother animal to deal with when you're a mid-major.
He might have to do the same thing, and whatever the speech was that he gave Bradley Weaver, maybe giving it again this offseason, because he's just a redshirt junior who's returning next year, or can return next year. So I'd like to see guys stick it out and come back and play for their respective universities.
We're at the 2-minute timeout. Ohio on the verge of its first MAC title in more than a half century.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Every minute that I have left, I will thank God for the day and the moment I have.
Research. This is game-changing research that saves lives, and you can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of the donations go directly to cancer research. Ohio moves the chains, and it'll come down to kneel downs. The Bobcats on the verge of a MAC championship for the first time since 1968. This would be their third straight 10-win season, and they never really left a shred of doubt on the field today.
Just came out from the opening bell and just dominated. And this is another formation I don't understand right here. In a close game, get under center so that ball didn't go flying over the quarterback's head or dribbling back on the turf.
Sunday, get it started with the NFL Countdown crew just hours before the college football playoff reveal. Learn about the friendly wagers between NFL players if their alma maters play one another. You saw Baker Mayfield with the Missouri Grandma shirt on the other day. That and more on Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Emotion on that Ohio sideline. A team that will enter bowl season on a 6-game win streak. They take the knee, and Andre, all 6 wins by 17 plus. They dominated down the stretch, and they dominate their rival to win the MAC here in Detroit.
Yeah, they got hot at just the right time. Parker Navarro played an outstanding game. Trey Tyus, and then this Ohio defense did not allow Miami to get itself going. They dominated all throughout this game, offense, defense, as well as special teams.
First MAC championship since 1968, and after losing this league title game 5 times since 2006, the Bobcats of Ohio break through. They are the MAC champions. Paul Carcaterra.
Thank you, Anish. Coach, this team beat you earlier in the season. What was the difference today?
Again, offensively, masterful game plan by the offensive staff. We were on schedule all day. Time of possession, our defense was watching. Just really all 3 phases. 20 years I've been at Ohio University. It's my 6th trip here. Has to be the best 4 quarters of football I've ever seen in my 36-year career. For sure, 20 years here at Ohio. So this football team and this coaching staff on the shoulders of all Bobcat Nation, all the alumni since 1968. We hadn't even landed on the moon yet on the last championship. So I am just so happy for this program, our administration, President Gonzalez, Director Cromer. It is, yeah.
What's it like for you emotionally after being here 6 times and now being called a MAC champ?
I tell you, there's so many people that are a part of this. Frank Solich, all the former players in my 20 years. There's a bunch of them in the stands that helped build this thing. I got staff members on our staff that played here. You know, it's a program, and yeah, I'm really lost for words right now, other than I am very, very proud of a coaching staff and a football team.
You told us earlier in the week your toughness is developed by your quarterback, Parker Navarro, who's been with you now for a few years. How did he change the complexity of this team?
Again, yes, your football team takes on the personality of your quarterback, and he has been so humble, an unbelievable servant leader to a football team. Even when he wasn't the starter, come to work every day. He is tough and gritty. He's a man of God. It is our football team is you know, this coaching staff serves these guys' hearts, and we build champions. All right, and eventually the championships will come. Well, we just got one. To be a champion, you got to beat the champion, and we did it.
You did, Coach. 1968, no more. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tim Albin said very accurately the last time Ohio had won a MAC championship, man had not set foot on the moon. A series of small steps, and today one giant leap forward for Ohio football. They are the MAC champions. We'll have the trophy presentation in just a little bit. But right now, back to the studio and Matt Barry.